So we're just going through and I'm evaluating my roots, seeing where I have the most gray, where my last placement was from my previous highlight. And you can see that I have a little bit of a darker base. I do want to keep my natural color. I don't want to have to fight that demarcation line from a permanent hair color. So we're just going to work on gray blending and brightening up some of the dark roots that I have. Let's start by sectioning it off. We're going to take 4 quadrants and we're going to start working from the back quadrant first using the Pravanna Bleach with the 10 volume developer. Clipping back the hair because it makes it so much easier. Oh, and you see that highlight grown out. We do want to bring a little bit more of that up into that dark root. I do like the warmth that's in my hair, but as I'm blending the gray, I really need to add the brighter, cooler pieces so that it blends and it almost acts as a camouflage to my gray. We're doing a partial. I love using this board, guys. It's so helpful, especially on the back areas. So what I do is I apply the color or the bleach to the foil before using the, or before taking the sections, I should say. And so then that way it really helps as you lay that hair on the board. The underneath section or the underneath part of the hair gets the color and you don't run into that patchy or spotty color. So there's those 4 quadrants. And we're going to start by taking pretty chunky weave in this back section right here. Don't worry so much about getting it too close to the root there. We are going to do a root melt, and you can see I'm dropping out that end. You do not want to over process it by overlapping that bleach onto that previously highlighted hair unless you really want to brighten. And I like starting a little bit further back down the mid shaft of the hair so that I can really pick up the pieces that I previously highlighted. That acts as my guide. And then I can pick up a little bit more of that depth if I want a brighter feel. And dropping that top out. This is what the back is looking like. And now on to the front sections. We'll clip those back pieces away. We are done with that for right now, and we can focus just on those front pieces. I am going to kind of keep the same outline here that I did the last highlight where I have the lightness around my face because that's where most of my gray is. So that's where I'm going to keep it the lightest. And now I've mixed up the Pravanna with the 20 volume and it will catch up with the back pieces that have the 10 volume on them. You're really going to focus on taking very thin slices in and around the gray that you're seeing. So that way it camouflages it, like I mentioned earlier. You're highlighting in and around it. So those gray pieces really just look like highlights once you're finished. Dropping out the ends to protect them from any damage. Here you'll see I have a little bit of a dark and I have some light in that foil, so I will want to pull those light pieces out but fully saturate the dark. This does take a little bit more time, but in the long run, this is how you keep your hair healthy when coloring. Now we're starting to get up into that gray patch that you'll see. I like taking these diagonal back sections. The way that my hair is cut, having those layers in the front, it really just blends so nicely, and how the color lays is very natural looking if you can diagonal back those sections. Ooh, there you see that really bright gray patch right there. So we want to be sure to get all that dark that's around it included in this foil. And I'm going to pull it through just a little bit more on this piece because you can see that's more golden. You really want a multi-dimensional look. And so if your roots are as dark as mine, you don't want to just go from dark to just really light pieces to camouflage the gray. You really need a darker blonde or a lighter brown shade intermixed in. And here I am trying to decide how much of that dark do I want to fall in between, or I should say poke out in between these light pieces, because I do really want to keep a darker base. And I think when you have, or I know when you have the darker contrasting pieces, it only makes that blonde pop even more. And I'll definitely want to keep this section here with the 10 volume developer versus the 20, so that it doesn't go as light as I am processing it for around my face. We want a little brightening, we just don't want it as bright as the face frame. And you'll pull that last section down, fold over your foils, and on to the next side. And on to the last and final section. We're going to go straight down the middle, and I'm going to half this, and we're going to do a little bit of back combing to give more of an organic, easy looking flow transition from the roots into the highlights. So we're going to start those highlights kind of mid shaft down. And we process. Okay, now you can see these nice stripes that we really want to get rid of. So we're going to apply a Demi gloss to the roots for our root shadow, which is going to deposit a little bit of color. We're taking the 4 quadrants again. I'm really going through and fully saturating those roots. All of the formulas will be listed below in the description. This is going to provide a little bit more depth. You're going to see the highlights. They're just going to be a little darker, and they're going to have a different tone. I really like to keep my roots cooler and my ends where it typically our hair is more porous. I like to keep that just a little bit warmer. The way that the light reflects off of golden hues in the hair gives more of a brighter feel. And I'm taking my semi-permanent color to the highlighted hair, and I'm backing it right up to where that Demi gloss stops, the semi-permanent starts. All semi-permanent color is a direct dye pigment that's added to a conditioner. So it gives you a little deposit and it tones. Doesn't last very long in the hair, typically 1 to 2 weeks. If I'm being completely transparent with you guys, I love applying this semi-permanent to dry hair. I feel like it gives a little bit more color and it lasts a little bit longer as well. Sometimes with the hair being damp, it will kind of dilute it a little bit, but it will still it'll still do the trick. So I'm just brushing just slightly, not all the way down, and I can't wait for you guys to see the results. Thank you so much for being a part of the On Cue crew, where I'm going to be doing much more tutorials and how-tos. If you have any suggestions or questions, please comment below. Please subscribe to the channel and share it out. And I love doing this with you guys. Gosh, I love hair so much, and I love to talk all things beauty. So stick around, there's more to come.